So the lower house of Italy's parliament has approved a set of austerity measures demanded by the European Union. It opens the way for Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi to step down. He had promised to quit once the cuts were approved, bringing his 17 years in power to an end. Let's get straight to Rome. Al Jazeera's Barbara Serra is outside the Italian parliament. Barbara, any sign of that Berlusconi resignation?
Well, not yet, Adrian. What we're hearing is that he may actually resign in about an hour and a half from now. Right now, we think he is still inside Palazzo Chigi, that's just next to Parliament. It's one of the residences of the Prime Minister. He has been meeting with the Council of Ministers, and we understand that meeting is now over. He will soon be meeting with the rest of his party, and then in about an hour and a half, we expect him to go to the residence of the President, Giorgio Napolitano, to officially hand in his resignation. So he hasn't actually resigned yet. But Adrian, take a look at this. Hundreds of people that have gathered outside Parliament. They've been here for hours now. The vast majority of them, I've spoken to them, all against Silvio Berlusconi, all against his premiership, saying that it really was time for him to leave. I have to say, if you follow Italian politics, this is quite rare. Italians are not a nation of demonstrators, so I'll just show you how it just goes all the way down and across the whole area, cordoned off, obviously, but hundreds of people that have been gathering here for hours. Well, let's find out what some of them think. Why have you come here to demonstrate?
I think it is an important moment for the Italian politics today.
Why do you think he had to go? Are you happy he's gone?
He has been shown that he doesn't have the numbers to carry on, so he shall resign.
It's a bit odd, though, that in a way it wasn't the Italian people that pushed him out, it was the Eurozone leaders. How do you feel about that?
Well, I wish we had done it ourselves, but I guess there are enough people to do that.
He hasn't resigned yet. A lot of people aren't quite sure he will. Are you?
I'm not either. I mean, he's shown us that he's quite resilient, so we'll see.
Thank you very much for that. Well, again, as you can see, hundreds of people that have turned out here. Now, Berlusconi's premiership has been controversial for years because of the conflict of interest. For example, his media empire and his political interests. But it really has been the past year with the Bunga Bunga scandal, the sex parties, the allegations of him using underage prostitutes that have really tainted his image, not just abroad, but crucially in Italy. So let's speak to a woman that's here. Thank you very much for speaking to us. You're here. How damaging do you think the Berlusconi premiership has been to the image of women in Italy?
I think it was a very high damage because he has transformed the image of the women in an object, something for a show. So I don't like it. Absolutely not.
He was forced out now for economic reasons. Are you confident that things will get better now that Berlusconi goes? Hold on, let's turn around. Sorry, just a second. I think we understand that Berlusconi might be coming out. That is the exit. Someone has come out. We're not quite sure who. Obviously, it's quite a confusing situation, and there's very unpopular members of the government here in Italy. Well, it's definitely not Berlusconi. I don't think he would chance coming out like this. I think it's one of the ministers of the Berlusconi government, but it's quite clear, isn't it? If he got such a booing, just one of the government ministers, you can imagine what would happen if Berlusconi himself was to come out of that door. Now, we understand he is still in the building. We think there's some motorbikes there. They would probably lead his presidential or prime ministerial car outside. Sometimes he does drive out by car, maybe not today. It is obviously quite an interesting and intense evening for him, but if he was to come out from this exit, I think we all know what reaction would await him.
Barbara, all right, we've got maybe an hour or so to wait until that resignation announcement. Hopefully Mr. Berlusconi will come out sometime before he makes that announcement. In the meantime, let's talk about what happens next. When and who will become the Prime Minister of Italy?
Well, all all the fingers are pointing to Mario Monti, who is an economist, very well respected, has been a commissioner for the European Union twice, the first time actually appointed by Berlusconi back in 1994. As a commissioner, he worked for the internal market and competition, so obviously exactly the kind of person that Eurozone leaders would like to see in charge in Italy. Now, the question is, will Mario Monti have the kind of political backing within Parliament to actually be able to push through the many financial reforms that he would have to push through? And that is one of the things that is being debated right now. Berlusconi's party is incredibly split. And so, yet another minister coming out. Berlusconi's party is incredibly split. Another reason why all these ministers are so crucial, and you can see the local media gathering around them, is because it matters what they think, whether they are going to back Mario Monti or not. We know that some ministers have said that they will. Others just want to go straight to an election. They say they don't want a government of a technocrat. They want to go to the polls and want the Italian people to vote for a government that has legitimacy. So right now, yes, everyone here is booing Berlusconi, but behind the scenes, what's going on is a lot of political wrangling, a lot of ministers deciding which way they're going to go. Because if Mario Monti doesn't have the political backing that he needs, then Italy won't really be in a better place on Monday when the markets open.
All right, Barbara, for the moment, many thanks. Barbara Serra live in Rome. We will be back in Rome as soon as there's any word on Silvio Berlusconi's future. Also ahead in this news hour.